Hey guys, this is, I guess, a update to my Shinydex. So I thought I would make this video basically at the end of the year, just to show what the current progress of things are. And yeah, I have organized a bit of my stuff over in home for now. I did do a little bit of shiny hunting just before I posted this video. But it's pretty much, I guess, up to date. There's a couple of Pokemon that are currently in other games and stuff like that. I know I do have a couple of Pokemon sitting in Pokemon Violet, which are stuff like Tandemaus, and I think there's a Duraludon there, which I haven't decided whether I want to evolve into Arcturaludon. I cannot remember, but I might have moved it over. I do know there is a Tandemaus though. That hunt is somewhere in the future, and it's going to be terrible because that is a really hard hunt, but I guess we should get used to that, considering a lot of these hunts now are going to be basically things that are really hard to hunt for. Things like soft resetting for legendaries, finding really rare Pokemon, finding really rare forms. That's kind of where we're at this point. We're pretty much cleared a good chunk of the common Pokemon, though we haven't gotten to the, at the time of recording this, we haven't gotten into ZA hunting yet. We haven't got the Shiny Charm, nor do we know what's part of the DLC. I believe also, at the time I'm recording this, the DLC is out, but I am trying to do my best to avoid all spoilers on that. So, ZA stuff is not part of this Shinydex list at the moment. I know it will definitely help because there's a good chunk of X and Y Pokemon that I am currently missing. So that will help clear out a good chunk of that. So, let's begin. I believe I did do a Shinydex sort of update, maybe last year, of a similar kind. There isn't too much that has been added in terms of like early game stuff. A lot of the stuff that I am missing are, I guess, Alolan and Galarian forms for Kanto. But as you can see here, pretty much everything, if you aren't familiar how I've documented all this, it's basically every alternate form, and including genders, as well as any alternate forms that some Pokemon might have, such as regional forms or just different types of like colors and whatnot. That's all here at the moment. So I am slowly working on another thing, which as you can see here just next to me is the Gigantamax forms. I am trying to get a Gigantamax form shiny of every Pokemon. Obviously they don't really count in the grand scheme of things. You don't put them in the box or anything like that, but it's just like an extra check on the list. So a couple things I will say. I finally did catch the extra Alolan Meowth I need. So basically the only thing I will need to start doing is a lot of Galarian hunts. I believe at this point the only Alolan Mon I do need is Alolan Rattata. I do have this one that somebody gave me, but it is from Pokemon Go, so my thoughts are I'm going to fill the entire Shinydex and then go back over the stragglers for Pokemon that don't belong to me and try and get them myself. That's the goal in the future, the long distant future. So you can see pretty much almost all of Kanto is done. A lot of things are just Galarian forms and such that are missing. I am still missing that one Tauros. I haven't really decided to hunt him yet, which is the Fire Breed Tauros, because I want to get the starters from Paldea done. I am missing Mew here, technically. I do have the Mew that you can get in Pokemon Go. I just haven't transferred it over. But I did eventually finally get the last of the Galarian birds. I did have to go through other means to get them, but I do have them now, so that's all that's important. Johto! Johto is, I think, really pretty much done. It just has this big hurdle, which is essentially all the unknown forms. I did finally get another unknown form. I believe it was, yeah, it was this one from Legends Arceus. It's going to be a very long hunt. The other two were gotten from RNG manipulation, but yeah, the unknowns are probably going to be the biggest, like, roadblock in completing all of Johto. We also have some of the Hisuian forms that I still haven't gotten. I have not seen a Hisuian Sneasel, which sucks because it's a really good shiny in my opinion. But yeah, pretty much all of Johto is done. It's just a small handful of Mons. A lot of the first 4 gens are pretty much done as of now, so there are a couple stragglers. I am still missing a female Torchic, I believe. I do have the male one. And I am still missing Swampert, but that's just us having really bad luck at the moment with some of the Violet sandwiches. I haven't been back in Pokemon Violet for a little while. I'll probably do it every so often, but ZA currently is the focus for Pokemon stuff at the moment. Plus it's a bit of a change of pace, but a lot of the early game stuff are definitely done with RNG manipulation, I'm not gonna lie. I know some people don't count RNG manip as the best method, some even consider it cheating, but it's totally legal in my point, and I've decided that if I do manage to catch a Pokemon, if I do have one that was done by RNG manipulation, I will just simply replace it in the Shinydex, just so it's filled up a bit more. Yeah, so I think, yeah, Hoenn's pretty much done as well. There's only like a handful of things. I do have a Latios. It's just in Violet because it was on my team in one of the competitives, but since, I don't know, since Violet and Scarlet are kind of done, I might start transferring some of those shinies back over here into this game for preparation for Champions, but we'll see. Sinnoh is definitely one of the ones that has a lot of duplicates due to just gender differences been adding in this game. We're almost done with the starters, which is really cool. The one major gap, I believe, is the Glameow we hunted for during our shiny month that we still haven't gotten, and the Munchlax that's part of the Ogre ousting. I can easily hunt for Munchlax in any other game, but I am determined to get it to be that particular Munchlax because it's just a really cool Munchlax, and it has a cool mark as well that I do not have on any shiny Pokemon as of now. But yeah, Sinnoh is also another one that is pretty much done. I am happy to have all the Rotoms finally done. It took a little while, but I got them all done. The big ones that are missing here is Shaman again and Arceus. Those probably will be hunts done in Shining Pearl, as I do have the codes for both of those things. I just haven't sat down to actually do those hunts because they are pretty time consuming, all things considered. But here is the first example of something I have been doing. So, I saw this on, I guess, the Pokemon Home Reddit, where somebody was doing this to put in all the gaps for all the shiny Pokemon that do not have a shiny at the moment, or shiny locked, per se. So now it makes the box feel a bit more full. It's just a question mark unknown, nothing special. And plus, it was part of the hunt I was doing for shiny unknown at the same time, so two birds, one stone, I guess. But yeah, this is the first example of a shiny lock that we have as of now. Unova is a weird one, because I know a lot of Pokemon I do have here are ones that I've caught in Violet, and there are a small handful that I can still catch in Violet. I can technically do RNG manipulation for those, but I do want to catch them in Violet. I still have not got Basculin nor the White Stripe Basculin, which is really unfortunate. That's one that's been sort of sticking in my mind, as I really want to get this one next year. A lot of Galarian Mons still sort of missing here. I'm pretty sure that's all the Galarians here. And then I did catch another Zorua. I ended up going back to Ultra Moon and doing an SOS for that over the Christmas holidays. So I got the Alolan Meowth and a Zorua. And I evolved the one that we caught in Violet and kept the one that we caught in, I guess, Alola here. So all that's left is the Hisuian one. I haven't decided whether I'm going to Masuda method it yet. I haven't had much luck with seeing another Hisuian Zorua, so I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking that Masuda might be the way to go. It's just we have so many other mons I have to Masuda first, so that's been put on the backbone for now. We're still missing, I think, 2 Dealings and 1 Swordsbuck, which can be easily gotten. There's a couple of just small ones missing here. This one's another sticking one, the Cryogonal. Still don't have that. And here's our biggest case of just big, massive gaps here. A lot of it is related to a lot of the, I guess, legendaries we can get in the Dynamax Adventures. I'm hoping to find a way to stream on 2 different systems for that. Now that I have, my Switch 2 and Switch 1, I've been thinking that maybe I'll have to start considering getting a multi-viewer so that I can use multiple consoles to hunt, just to speed it up a little bit, because we're currently still doing the Solgaleo hunt, but we got nothing for like the longest time, and it burnt me out quite a bit. especially since we were also doing the type null hunt at the same time. And having 2 whole, like, 10-hour streams with, like, no shinies, regardless of what they were, was a little bit of a, I guess, a letdown. Plus, it was just a bit of a time issue, too, because we basically got ZA around the time that I started doing those hunts. So, ZA's been taking the priority in terms of the Pokemon stuff, and probably still will. I guess in the next year, regarding to my work schedule and stuff, maybe I'll start doing some streams in the afternoon, just 2-hour streams for Dynamax Adventure. Something that won't burn me out. But yeah. Keldeo. I forgot that Keldeo technically has a second form, so I'm going to have to connect a phone to my other account that I have and fill that up to get all the mythical gifts so I can get 2 Keldeos, and I also need 2 Enamoruses. So that will be done in the future. Kalos! I expect we will finally get these 2. That's the Bunnelby line, eventually. I kind of wouldn't mind getting the starters here as well. As you can see, these don't belong to me. These were gotten from Pokemon Go and other people, so it'd be nice to have those replaced. Thank goodness about this. Look at my... I think this was this all done last year? Yeah, it's one of my favorite accomplishments, is having every single Vivillon pattern available. I believe the gap here that I put here, I think that might be related to the Pokedex. Pokeball Vivillon. I wasn't sure if they were ever going to release Pokeball Vivillon as a shiny, because that was an event-only mon that we got in... Let me double check. Yeah, so I put a gap here for Pokeball Vivillon. I don't know if we'll ever get Pokeball Vivillon as a shiny, but I might put a question mark unknown there just in case. But I have a feeling it's more likely to just fill up something else in the future. Furfuro, I just really hope that when ZA connects to this game, we'll be able to, like, transfer all the trims. I desperately want all the Furfuro trims to be under my own Pokemon ID. And you can see there's a ton of gaps. I'm pretty sure this is almost all Furfuro. But yeah, you can see this is one of the start of, like, Pokedexes being really broken open, and there's a lot of empty spaces at the time of recording this. This is, and you got these... I wonder if these ones will have a shiny in the future. Diancie has a shiny, but it was Korean exclusive. So, I guess time will tell. I also assume that ZA's finishing the Pokedex there, and maybe the DLC Pokedex will be 2 separate things. No clue at the moment, as I haven't touched the DLC, nor do we have any access to Home at the moment with ZA at the time of recording this, but it's a thing in the future. Alola! Alola is actually starting to fill up now quite a bit. I think thanks to Blueberry Academy being a thing, as well as Kitakami, that's definitely, like, put out a huge amount of mons from the Alola region in Violet. So this is actually a lot more full, despite Kalos having a smaller dex. There are obviously some big gaps here. Magearna, Marshadow, Cosmog, and Cosmoem. I am happy that I do have Lunala. This was a big hunt that we did during our shiny month, and we got it on the, I think, the second to last episode, so I'm really happy we managed to get that. But yeah, we still have a lot of Ultra Beasts to go. I'm pretty sure this is almost all Ultra Beasts. We've only got, like, 1. So all the more reason to try and find a way to speed up, I guess, Dynamax Adventure so that we can get more of these legendaries that are locked to it. The Gala region. This is probably the one that has the least completed Pokedex. I think I have... it's tying with Paldea, I think, in terms of, like, the starters. But yeah, this is another one where there's a ton of gaps, and the downside is there's not many Gala Pokemon really in Violet. There's a good chunk that are just still locked to Sword and Shield. I haven't decided when I might go back to do Masuda methoding in there. I don't know if I really want to do the Brilliant Shining or Aura, or just, like, hunting them out in the wild. But yeah, Dynamax is still currently the main, I guess, goal we have here. That's why this one's probably another dex that's taking forever to do, just because Dynamax is taking up the priority. But I do have a bunch of things. I am happy to have all these. This was because of the Milcery event that happened in Violet. So that was a really handy one to have all done. But yeah, there's a couple of little bits and bobs missing here. A lot of these were thanks to those suspicious dens that are being posted in the, I guess, online in Sword and Shield, but I'm not going to complain because these guys are really hard to get. I'm happy to finally have the Droopy line completed. That was another line that took forever. But yeah, this is also another case of there's a lot, and I mean a lot of shiny locked Pokemon from this region. I don't know if they'll ever be unshiny locked, so that's a bit unfortunate. Because they do exist, but I am also worried if they ever do, because one of the ones here is literally Cubfu, and Cubfu has that weird issue of having like 2 separate evos that go different ways, so technically you need like 3 Cubfus if they don't give us the Urshifus as shinies. But yeah, I guess we'll see in the future if they ever decide to like unlock these particular mons. They are starting to unlock some Pokemon, but yeah, only time will tell. And finally, we have Paldea. Paldea is actually almost completed as well. It's a case of like there's a couple of forms things. I'm still unable to get the male Oinkoloin, which really sucks. That one has been a hunt that we've done multiple times and have gotten nothing out of it, so that's not great. This hunt is going to be pretty empty for a while because this is where the Tandemaus hunt is. So I have a feeling that when I finally do start the hunt, 2 of these spaces will be filled in really quickly. I'm just going to hope that my luck is good enough that I'll finally get the 3 family, but it's a 1 in 100, so we'll see. Squawkabilly was still missing the yellow form. But yeah, you can see here, like, a good chunk of the dex is already done because of just how busted sandwiches are in Violet and Scarlet. And we have all the forms. We have all these Scarlet forms, which is, I would say, thanks to Blub, who gave us all these ones. I think the only one that isn't belonged to Blub was this one because I found it whilst we were hunting together using the link. But yeah, another thing that I have here is we finally have all 4 of the Treasures of Ruin as shinies. And we also have Koraidon and Miraidon as shinies, which fills up this real nicely. Because this would have been all empty for a while. Like 6 shinies that just didn't exist. I still need to catch one more of the Poltergeists, but that should be almost done. I believe I'm still missing a couple of these unknowns to fill in the gaps. I think it's for the other Paradox Mons. Let me double check. I think it's like Petulant, Terapagos, and I think it's the other Paradox, Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Iron Boulder, and Iron Crown. So I am missing a couple of unknowns here, but that can be done whilst I'm hunting for unknown. But yeah, that's pretty much all the all of my shiny decks currently updated. So you can see there's a good chunk that is missing in certain areas. Paldea's almost done. Like, if I do have a Pokedex tracker, which I probably will link to this video, but the Pokedex tracker is saying that we only have like 149 to go. That's obviously not counting certain forms and stuff like that. That's just the base Pokemon. But it is crazy that we're kind of getting to the end of the shiny decks. There's only a couple of hunts that are really just easy hunts. Just go for a sandwich or something like that. Everything else is going to be things like Masuda Method, Dynamax Adventure, heck, soft resetting for legendaries. We're still like soft resetting for type null, as well as eventually Savali. Another shiny I do want to kind of get is the Ash Cap Pikachu, which doesn't have a shiny sprite, but I think would be a really cool shiny to just have in the decks, because it is, I guess, theoretically possible to have, just due to a bug, and it doesn't cause any issues from what I've heard. So it would be a cool one to get, but that's probably lower on the priority. Also, another thing I can show off, this annoying thing. If you have been part of my hunts for the shiny month, you probably remember how many shiny Combee I've caught over the time. So yeah, we now have a haul of bees. These are legitimately every single Combee and Vespiquen we've caught throughout the shiny hunting month. And I believe these are all male. We've caught 2 female, and then all these Vespiquen. It's like a haul of shame in a ways, but I didn't want to get rid of these because as much as I hate the fact that I have so many Combees and stuff, they are important to the journey. So I decided that they might as well just stay in this little box here. Who knows, maybe in the future we'll find more Combi. But that is for another time. Another thing that I will point out that's not part of the Shinydex is my Monograss team. And they are all safe here. And they will probably be reordered once I have the other generation. So we only have Gen 3 and Gen 7 at the moment. But we are going to be doing Gen 6 with Pokemon Y. So we will have another line added to this dex at some point. But that will be next year. So yeah, I think that covers everything that I really wanted to talk about in terms of the Shinydex. Just wanted to do an update at the end of the year. I thought it was probably best to do one of these, considering it is something that my channel is known for, is doing shiny hunting. So it's nice to just be able to go over everything and just look back and be like, ah, this is how much progress I've made. I do suspect it's going to slow down over the course of 2026, just because I am really behind on a lot of other games besides Pokemon hunting. But it's also the fact that we're getting to some of the more difficult hunts now. So we're just going to be slowing down in terms of that. But yeah, I am excited to see if I'm able to catch more Mons in the future. I have to decide what to do with all the extra Pokemon I've caught, because let's be real, you do come across duplicate shinies. So I have a ton of those. I might consider giving them away or just putting them out somewhere, just because I do not need them at the moment. But for now, I think I will let you guys go. I will be posting probably this along with a bunch of other shiny hunts that I did last year, as I am cleaning up all my stuff for the end of the year. But yeah, I do have like a couple of Mons in mind that I do want to start the hunts for. But we'll see how we go. Who knows, maybe we'll go back to some of the older games and try hunting there. So stuff like Sword and Shield. Maybe I'll go back to Ultra Sun and Moon. I do know, besides Type Null, I do need a hunt for the Alolan Rattata. And there are a couple of Alolan Mons. I do know there is things like Drampa is in ZA, but it seems to be a bit of a rare spawn. So it might be better to hunt it in the older games, but we'll see, we'll see. So I'll just do one last quick look through, but yeah. I'm hoping that a lot of these gaps will be filled in by next year's end. So end of 2026, which sounds crazy. In a year's time, who knows where we will be at that point, but I hope there will be some improvements there. I guess we can use those two videos as a reference point. But for now, I think I will let you guys go. And I hope to see you guys all in 2026, whether I just be doing other games or be shiny hunting. So, till next time, take care everybody.